In the final months leading up to the midterm elections, President Joe Biden was riding a wave of optimism. His administration had just passed a landmark infrastructure bill, promising to modernize America's roads, bridges, and broadband access. Polls showed rising approval ratings, and political analysts were beginning to suggest that the Democrats might not only hold on to Congress but possibly expand their majority. Biden's team was confident. The momentum was on their side, and the president appeared poised to secure a significant political victory that could set the tone for the 2024 presidential race. However, just as the campaign was gathering steam, an unexpected event threw the entire political landscape into chaos. In a surprise announcement, a high-profile whistleblower from within the administration revealed allegations of mishandling sensitive intelligence related to foreign interference. The news broke just days before a major televised debate, instantly dominating headlines and shifting public attention. Suddenly, Biden's message of progress was overshadowed by questions about transparency and trust. Opponents seized the opportunity to question his leadership, and several moderate Democrats grew uneasy, fearing the potential fallout could cost them their seats. The whistleblower's claims detailed a series of missteps in how the administration handled intelligence reports concerning a rival nation's attempts to influence the midterm elections. While the allegations did not directly implicate President Biden himself, the timing and gravity of the revelations fueled a political firestorm. Media outlets dissected every angle, with pundits debating whether this was a case of negligence or a deliberate cover-up. Inside the White House, the atmosphere was tense. Advisors scrambled to contain the damage, arranging press briefings and emphasizing Biden's commitment to transparency and national security. Yet, the opposition relentlessly pushed their narrative, using the story to rally their base and cast doubt on the Democrats' ability to govern effectively. Meanwhile, public opinion began to shift. Independent voters, who had been leaning toward the Democrats due to the recent legislative successes, started expressing skepticism. Poll numbers that once showed a comfortable lead for Biden's party narrowed significantly. Fundraising efforts slowed, and campaign events saw lower turnout. The ripple effects were immediate. Key swing state candidates faced intense scrutiny, and some even distanced themselves from the administration's messaging to protect their own campaigns. This fracture within the party made it increasingly difficult to maintain a unified front heading into the critical final weeks before the elections. As the crisis deepened, Biden decided to take a bold step. In a nationally televised address, he acknowledged the seriousness of the whistleblower's allegations and promised a full, independent investigation. He appealed directly to the American people, urging them to stay united and reminding them of the progress his administration had made on key issues like the economy, healthcare, and climate change. The speech initially seemed to calm some nerves, but it also opened new questions. Critics accused Biden of trying to distract from the real issues and alleged that the investigation would be a political stunt designed to save face. The opposition called for hearings in Congress, turning what was meant to be a moment of reassurance into a battleground of partisan conflict. Behind the scenes, the administration faced mounting pressure. Some advisors recommended shifting focus entirely away from the controversy to highlight policy achievements. Others argued that transparency was the only path forward, even if it risked exposing further vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, grassroots activists and voters expressed growing frustration. Many felt caught between a political tug-of-war, unsure who to trust. Social media amplified every rumor and accusation, fueling polarization and making compromise seem more distant than ever. The midterms were fast approaching, and Biden's near-certain victory now hung by a thread. The unexpected event that had disrupted his campaign was not just a political setback, it was a defining moment that would test the resilience of his leadership and the unity of his party. With the midterm elections just weeks away, the pressure on President Biden and his team reached a fever pitch. The independent investigation had begun, but its slow-moving nature frustrated both the public and political insiders. Every day brought fresh leaks and unverified claims, which opponents used as ammunition in attack ads and debates. Biden's campaign had to work overtime to refocus voters on the administration's accomplishments, record low unemployment, expanding access to healthcare, and aggressive climate policies. Yet, the cloud of the whistleblower scandal continued to loom large, undermining the message and creating an air of uncertainty. Internal divisions within the Democratic Party grew more apparent. Progressive factions demanded a thorough reckoning, arguing that only full accountability could restore trust. Moderates worried that pushing too hard on the investigation would alienate undecided voters. Some centrist candidates, particularly in swing districts, quietly distanced themselves from the White House, prioritizing their local campaigns over party loyalty. At the same time, Republican strategists sensed an opening. They doubled down on framing the controversy as emblematic of a corrupt and out-of-touch administration. Their messaging focused heavily on restoring integrity and putting America first, which resonated strongly with disillusioned voters across key battleground states. Despite Biden's attempts to steer the conversation back to policy and unity, the midterms became a referendum on his leadership amid crisis. The unexpected event that had almost been contained snowballed into a political maelstrom, reshaping the electoral landscape in ways few had anticipated. When the results finally came in, the Democrats faced significant losses, losing control of one chamber of Congress. Biden's near success had slipped away, undone by the unforeseen storm that erupted just when victory seemed within reach. The aftermath of the midterm elections was a sobering moment for Joe Biden and his administration. Losing control of the House dealt a serious blow to the president's agenda, forcing a recalibration of strategy and priorities. The unexpected event, the whistleblower's revelations, had not only derailed the momentum but also exposed vulnerabilities within the administration's inner workings. In the weeks that followed, Biden took a more reflective tone. He acknowledged the lessons learned and emphasized the need for greater transparency and accountability in government. The independent investigation, which continued to unfold, revealed systemic issues that extended beyond a single incident, prompting calls for reforms in how intelligence and election security matters were managed. Despite the setback, Biden remained determined to push forward. He sought common ground with the newly empowered opposition, reaching across the aisle to negotiate on key issues such as infrastructure funding and social programs. The political environment had become more polarized, but Biden's message centered on unity and resilience. Public opinion remained mixed. Some viewed the election results as a repudiation of Biden's leadership, while others saw the challenges as an inevitable part of the democratic process. Political analysts debated whether this episode would shape Biden's legacy or serve as a catalyst for renewed efforts to strengthen American democracy. Ultimately, the story of Joe Biden's near success, and the unexpected event that altered its course, became a pivotal chapter in the nation's political history. It underscored how fragile political fortunes can be, how quickly the tides can turn, and how leadership is often tested most during moments of crisis. As the country moved forward, one thing was clear: the path ahead would require resilience, compromise, and a renewed commitment to the ideals that bind the nation together. In the months following the midterm elections, the political landscape remained charged with uncertainty. Biden's administration, though weakened in Congress, doubled down on efforts to rebuild public trust and regain political ground. Recognizing the fragility exposed by the whistleblower scandal, the president prioritized transparency reforms and worked closely with intelligence agencies to shore up election security protocols. But the ripple effects of the unexpected event extended far beyond Washington. Grassroots movements and civic organizations mobilized, demanding more accountability and greater citizen involvement in the political process. For many Americans, the scandal was a wake-up call, highlighting vulnerabilities in the nation's democratic institutions and sparking a renewed interest in safeguarding the integrity of future elections. Within the Democratic Party, the fallout prompted deep introspection. Leaders initiated a series of internal reforms aimed at improving communication, decision-making, and crisis management. This period of self-reflection revealed underlying fractures, between progressives and moderates, between establishment figures and emerging voices, that had been exacerbated by the scandal and subsequent election losses. At the same time, Biden's political opponents seized the moment to consolidate their gains. The newly empowered Republican majority in the House launched investigations into the administration's actions, seeking to capitalize on the controversy and solidify their narrative of governmental overreach and incompetence. The political theater that followed further polarized an already divided nation. Despite the turbulence, Biden's presidency endured. His willingness to confront the crisis head-on, coupled with his calls for unity, resonated with many Americans yearning for stability. As he looked toward the 2024 presidential race, Biden faced the dual challenge of repairing his party's image and addressing the deep divisions within the country. The unexpected event that nearly derailed his political trajectory had ultimately reshaped it. It served as a powerful reminder of the unpredictable nature of politics and the importance of resilience in leadership. For Joe Biden, the road ahead was uncertain, but the lessons learned would undoubtedly influence how he governed, and how history would remember his time in office. As the dust settled from the midterm elections and the storm of controversy gradually faded from the headlines, Joe Biden found himself at a crossroads, not just politically, but personally. The unexpected event that had upended his administration's trajectory forced him to confront the harsh realities of modern governance, the relentless scrutiny, the unforgiving media landscape, and the delicate balance between transparency and national security. In private moments, Biden reflected on the immense pressure of leading a deeply divided nation. He recognized that while progress had been made, the path to lasting change was fraught with obstacles, some foreseeable, others entirely unexpected. The whistleblower incident had exposed not only vulnerabilities within his administration but also the fragility of public trust in government institutions. Determined to move forward, Biden embarked on a series of listening tours across the country, engaging directly with citizens from diverse backgrounds. These dialogues underscored the growing demand for leaders who could bridge divides, listen empathetically, and act decisively. The president's message was clear: democracy is a work in progress, requiring constant care and commitment from both leaders and the people. Meanwhile, the political ramifications continued to reverberate. The investigation into the whistleblower's claims yielded a complex mix of findings, some critical of procedural lapses, others affirming that there was no deliberate wrongdoing at the highest levels. The report prompted bipartisan calls for reform in intelligence oversight and election security, signaling a rare moment of cooperation amidst ongoing partisan battles. Within the Democratic Party, efforts to heal internal rifts gained momentum. Emerging leaders stepped forward, inspired by the challenge to redefine what it meant to serve the American people in an era marked by rapid change and deep skepticism. Biden, now more than ever, embraced the role of a unifying figure, someone who could harness the collective energy of a diverse coalition to confront the nation's greatest challenges. Yet, the lingering shadow of the scandal remained a cautionary tale. It served as a stark reminder that political victories are often precarious, vulnerable to forces beyond one's control. For Biden, the experience reinforced the importance of resilience, adaptability, and above all, the unyielding pursuit of truth. As the country prepared for the next chapter in its political journey, Joe Biden stood ready, shaped by adversity, tempered by experience, and committed to the enduring promise of democracy. In the wake of the scandal and the midterm setback, the ripple effects of the unexpected event continued to influence not only domestic politics but also America's standing on the global stage. Allies and adversaries alike watched closely, interpreting the turbulence within Washington as a sign of both vulnerability and resilience. On the international front, Biden faced heightened pressure to reaffirm America's leadership in an increasingly complex world. Strategic rivals saw an opportunity to test the resolve of a president whose political capital had been diminished. Yet, Biden's administration responded with a renewed focus on diplomacy, strengthening alliances, and advancing key global initiatives on climate change, trade, and security. Back home, the nation grappled with the consequences of a divided government. Legislative gridlock became the norm, as partisan tensions hampered efforts to pass critical reforms. However, amidst the stalemate, pockets of bipartisan cooperation emerged, often driven by shared concerns over economic stability, national security, and public health. Biden's political strategy evolved to reflect this new reality. He adopted a more pragmatic approach, emphasizing incremental progress and coalition building. Recognizing the limits of executive power, the president worked tirelessly to engage with Congress, community leaders, and stakeholders across the political spectrum. At the same time, the unexpected event became a defining moment in Biden's legacy. Historians and political analysts debated its long-term impact, considering whether it would be remembered as a cautionary episode of governance or as a catalyst for reform and renewal. Biden himself acknowledged the complexity of his presidency, a tenure marked by significant achievements but also by the relentless challenges of leading in a polarized era. The experience deepened Biden's commitment to transparency, accountability, and the defense of democratic norms. It also reinforced a personal conviction that leadership is not about avoiding crises, but about facing them with courage, humility, and an unwavering dedication to the public good. As the nation looked ahead to the next presidential election and beyond, the story of Joe Biden's near success, and the unforeseen event that reshaped his course, remained a powerful reminder of democracy's fragility and strength. It underscored that in politics, as in life, the path to progress is rarely straight, and the true test of leadership lies in the ability to navigate uncertainty with integrity and resolve. As the years passed, the reverberations of that unexpected event continued to echo through the corridors of power and the hearts of everyday Americans. Joe Biden's presidency had been tested in ways few could have predicted, and the near success that slipped through his fingers served as a defining chapter, not just of his own political journey, but of the nation's ongoing struggle to uphold democratic ideals in turbulent times. The challenges of that period prompted a broader reckoning within American society. Citizens, activists, and leaders engaged in vigorous debates about the future of democracy, the role of government transparency, and the need for systemic reforms to protect electoral integrity. These conversations transcended partisan lines, inspiring a new generation of political participation and civic responsibility. Biden himself emerged from the crisis with a renewed sense of purpose. The experience deepened his understanding of leadership as a balance between vision and pragmatism, between idealism and the messy realities of governance. It also reinforced his belief in the power of resilience, not just personal resilience, but the resilience of a democratic system built to endure trials and adapt to change. In his later speeches and writings, Biden often reflected on the lessons learned. He spoke candidly about the unpredictability of political life, the importance of listening to all voices, and the necessity of confronting uncomfortable truths head-on. His legacy became intertwined with these themes, marking him as a president who navigated profound challenges with dignity and determination. Meanwhile, the unexpected event that had threatened to unravel his presidency spurred meaningful change. Legislative initiatives aimed at strengthening election security, enhancing intelligence oversight, and promoting government accountability gained traction. Bipartisan coalitions formed around these goals, driven by a shared recognition that democracy must be actively protected. Looking forward, the story of Joe Biden's near success served as a cautionary tale and a source of hope. It reminded Americans that democracy is not guaranteed, it requires constant vigilance, active participation, and leaders willing to face adversity without losing sight of their core values. As the nation prepared to confront new challenges and opportunities, Biden's journey stood as a testament to the enduring spirit of American democracy, imperfect, resilient, and always striving toward a more just and inclusive future. In the years following the midterm upheaval, the ripple effects of the unexpected event transcended politics, seeping into the cultural fabric of the nation. It became a reference point in discussions about trust in institutions, the power of media, and the responsibilities of leadership in an age dominated by rapid information flow and deep political divisions. Universities and think tanks examined the incident as a case study on crisis management, political communication, and the fragility of democratic processes. Books, documentaries, and opinion pieces debated the implications, reflecting a collective struggle to understand how a single whistleblower's revelation could ripple through the highest levels of government and alter the course of history. For many Americans, the event underscored a growing sense of skepticism, not only toward politicians but also toward the systems designed to hold them accountable. This skepticism fueled demands for greater transparency and reforms in intelligence agencies, electoral oversight, and the media landscape itself. At the same time, Biden's response, marked by a commitment to openness and accountability, was hailed by supporters as a model of leadership under pressure. His willingness to admit mistakes, seek bipartisan solutions, and engaged directly with the public helped to restore faith in the presidency, even as partisan tensions remained high. The event also sparked a generational shift in political engagement. Young voters, galvanized by the controversy and its aftermath, became more active in advocacy and electoral participation. Grassroots movements pushing for electoral reform, campaign finance transparency, and civic education gained momentum, reflecting a renewed energy to shape the future of American democracy. Within the Democratic Party, the event prompted a redefinition of priorities and strategies. Leaders sought to bridge internal divides, focusing on uniting around shared values and common goals rather than ideological purity. This period of renewal laid the groundwork for future campaigns and policy initiatives aimed at building a more inclusive and resilient political coalition. Looking back, the unexpected event that almost derailed Biden's presidency became a pivotal moment, a catalyst for reflection, reform, and renewed commitment to democratic ideals. It revealed the challenges and complexities of governance in the modern era but also highlighted the enduring strength of a system built on checks, balances, and the active participation of its citizens. As historians continue to analyze this chapter of American history, the lessons remain clear: leadership is tested not only in moments of triumph but in how it responds to adversity. And democracy, though often fragile, has the capacity to adapt, heal, and emerge stronger when its principles are fiercely defended. Ultimately, the unexpected event that nearly shattered Joe Biden's path to political success became more than just a crisis, it became a defining moment in his presidency and in America's ongoing democratic journey. While the immediate aftermath brought uncertainty, division, and setbacks, it also sparked crucial conversations about the nature of leadership, the importance of accountability, and the resilience of democratic institutions. Biden's response, balancing humility with determination, showed a commitment to learning from mistakes and striving for progress despite adversity. His willingness to engage with critics, promote transparency, and seek bipartisan cooperation helped stabilize a fractious political climate and inspired a renewed faith in the possibilities of governance. The midterm losses, while painful, forced the administration and the Democratic Party to rethink strategies, rebuild alliances, and reconnect with the American people on a deeper level. This period of reflection laid the groundwork for future successes, as leaders across the spectrum worked to strengthen democracy's foundations. More broadly, the event illuminated the complex interplay between media, politics, and public perception in the digital age. It underscored the power, and peril, of information in shaping political fortunes, reminding citizens and leaders alike of the need for critical engagement and vigilance. As history looks back on Joe Biden's presidency, this episode will stand as a testament to the unpredictable nature of political life and the enduring strength of democracy. It reveals that setbacks are not endpoints but opportunities for growth, and that true leadership is measured not only by victories but by the courage to face crises head-on and the resolve to build a better future. In the end, Joe Biden almost succeeded, but it was how he responded to the unexpected event that truly defined his legacy. And in that response lies a powerful message for all who believe in the promise of democracy: resilience, integrity, and unity remain the keys to navigating the uncertain road ahead.